Hello there, everybody. I realized that I need to create a video and upload it to YouTube just so that my YouTube partner program status remains active. So again, hello, here we are. This is the motivation for the creation of this video. Now, what are we doing today? We are playing Dune Awakening. Now, I am a solo player. Completely solo, by the way. I've not had anybody helping me, and I've put way too much time into this game. I've been enjoying it greatly. So I figured I would do, at daylight here, daybreak if you will, a tour of the base that I have come up with. Now my base is named Minas Morgul, after the good old base in Lord of the Rings that the Witch King gets from Sauron to help defend the borders of Mordor. And with that in mind, I wanted to build kind of like a Sith pyramid-y type base. And it does combine both aesthetics with the functionality you need in this game for streamlining your base, like dropping off your materials, getting to your refiners and your stations, all that. So it is an endgame base. We have pretty much everything in the game available tier 6, except for a carrier and a harvester. And that's mainly because on my server here, it's a little bit too dangerous. There's too many bandits out in the deep desert on my server that just patrol all of the major spice circles. So soloing a carrier and a harvester in this server that I'm in, Sentinel City, is not really feasible at this time. And maybe that'll change over time. That's why I haven't really been too motivated to worry about building the carrier and the harvester there. But we do have a hangar on the left, our garage right there, the main entrance with its nice little spiky designs into the main pyramid, I guess, if you will. It's kind of more of a longhouse in the middle because it is wider than it is deep. So it's not a full perfect square on the bottom. But over here we do have the secondary perfect pyramid. Now we're going to do a tour through everything in here to show off what I've done. Now I am pretty much at the limit of decorations and lights and everything you can place. But I do have a couple of base extensions left, so I could potentially add to it. But again, for a solo player, I feel like a lot of that would just be extra empty, unused space that I would just need to decorate. And there's not really enough decorations in the game yet. So I need more things like toolboxes and ammo stands and ammo crates and weapon racks and stuff like that to do like the more industrial areas of the base. Right now, everything is more kind of just luxury. With that in mind, we are under the only pieces of Atreides that I've used in the build to make kind of like this external little patio here where you can hang out. Even if it's kind of storming outside with the sandstorms, you are covered here. So a good little hangout spot and not too much stuff like on tables and just out in these outdoor areas because, I mean, realistically, if we were role-playing, which I don't really do, but the base is still aesthetically designed around that and kind of like realistically living in a place like this, sandstorms would destroy pretty much anything you had outside. So there is like kind of more minimal exterior decorations going on. Just some unused space over there. Now I wanted to do a lot of neat external pathways and bridges between the buildings. There are also some internal hallways, but I kind of wanted a mix of both just to do some different stuff with all the building pieces. So we'll see a little bit of that going on. So from there, proceeding around the front of the base, before we go into the main entrance here, we do have kind of like a scout tower / observation platform that gives us a wide arc view of the north side of the base. Now there isn't too much activity further north of this on the map, but just in case, again, for like, just kind of coverage of all view distances and stuff like that. Plus you get a good look at the Godzilla mountain over there. So that's what's going on with the scout tower. Now again, I'm near the decoration cap, so this space inside the tower is basically just utilitarian ladders to get up to the observation platform. Not too much decorations in here for now, but we'll go check that out when we get up to the 3rd floor of the longhouse here. So entering in through our main spiky gate here, we'll have the main entryway. And with buildings like this that are kind of pyramid or square shaped, you're going to end up with a lot of interior space. And instead of dividing it down into like rooms and walls and hallways, I kind of just worked around the open environment and high ceilings by making it kind of like a hotel lobby aesthetic, I guess, if you will, or like maybe like I don't know, a super rich person's house when you entered in. They have lots of space to work with. So immediately upon entering, we've got our workstations here. This is kind of the work floor of the pyramid longhouse thing here. So of course we've got our medium chemical refinement station and our trays for our ingots and ores coming in and out of the large ore refinery, with some more just kind of aesthetic touches here along the walls to fill in space, and carpets down, you know, just make things a little bit more comfy. You got a water station right here, right by the entryway. Again, very lobby-esque with a decorative table, the Caladan and Getty Prime planet hologram projections, and more just kind of sitting and talking and relaxing areas. Of course, we have the large spice refiner here. Now, if you consider, I'm gonna go back through F6 here, but if you consider this as like a roof tile, like, you know, right here, right? That would be like a 1x1 box if you were standing. If you consider that like one story, this dang refiner is basically like 4 stories to a little bit more than 4 stories tall. So with that in mind, we did have to make a cutout in the floor of the second story, I guess, if you will, of this build, just to make room for it, because I really wanted it in here. Of course, you have workstations with all your spice-related literature and containment going on here, and more little leisure/literature library area. And then behind the large spice refiner, of course, we have a secondary workbench, more spice stuff. And again, just stuff to fill out all the corners and the walls and the gaps. Lots of decorations, you know, tables, chairs. I just wanted to really fill up as much space as I could over here. Walking around the corner here from the spice, we have our double chandelier dining area with a lot of food-related decorations, you know, all the plateware and drinks and extra food stuff. And it's over here. I actually keep the storage of food, you know, right here next to. I have F6 enabled, so you can't see anything, of course. But, yeah, we have all the food stuff right there. So, that's kind of the aesthetic going on in that back corner. Some extra seating for someone who's not invited to sit at the table. And a more intimate or private little seating area behind the main pillar of the main lobby there, where people can sit and chat about their, I don't know, business dealings on Arrakis. We also have just more decorations here alternating. And then we have our workstations. So we have the regular and the tier 6 versions of all the workstations, because obviously the tier 6 ones can only make the top tier of stuff, so you kind of need both of those of each type: survival, weapons, and clothing/armor. And then the basic one I can just use to jam out like medkits or copper wire for repairs. Through this door, we will have the hangar, which we'll go check out in a bit. And this little door will lead to kind of more of a utilitarian external pathway to get to the hangar. There is a little bit of hangout space over here, but because the elevation isn't so great, we're still kind of in the low-lying hazy mist. But as you'll see when we get up to the upper balconies, that this base positioned right here next to Misa Tiril gives you just a really good view of pretty much the entire map. Like, all of your spice is generally going to spawn and blow out here in Sheol or in the Western Vermilius Gap. So you have a really good sight lines for all of that to see the plumes and just fly right out there. And of course, you're near a lot of the endgame resources. The buggy, I'll usually take like right down this path right here, down the mountain, and I'll come over here to get to the rift to get all my cobalt paste stuff. And it's actually really not that bad of a trip. And similarly, I'll just drive off this cliff right here, fall down here, and go along these little island chains down here through the sand to get to Sheol to get all my jasmium and stuff like that. So all of your tier 3, 4, and 5 materials are really, really close by, and blueprints are easy to get from up here as well. So really great sight lines. It just happens to be hazy down on this platform and at, you know, this time of day. So we will keep going, and you'll see some better views when we get up a little higher. So moving up to the second floor here, away from all of the production stuff when it comes to those type of materials, we'll have obviously more aesthetics, more seating areas to fill out little corners, books, water, you know, decorations. We got the top of the spice refiner, of course, poking through the floor right here. And one of those little spaces, like what would you do with this space right there? Just a little plant there. I'm using the water cisterns all over the base to provide kind of like a sink slash water fountain function. So no matter where you are in the base, you'll have access to water pretty close by. And speaking of water, we have our Fremen Death Still kind of mortuary morgue going on over here. And I don't really use the blood processing so much anymore because you don't really need it once you get to this level. But it's here mostly for aesthetics and to keep kind of the theme of the laboratory going on. Oh, we had a spice blowout there. So no balcony on this floor, but let's see if we can see it from this little seating area that connects the upper part of the hangar. It's still a little too bright because of the way we're in the base right here. But we'll go check that out in a second. That would have been good timing if that had been a little bit more delayed. We got more decorative tables, stuff again just to fill up some empty space. Of course, lots of water-themed decoration, and our body locker right here going on with the death stills. The base currently can hold almost 600,000 water, but there's room for expansion, and I'll cover that when I get to the storage shelf. And then this kind of thing is throughout the base, more so just for aesthetics, being the water area of the base here. So a lot of that going on. Nice little corner wraparound desk right here for whatever you got going on. And some secondary meals going on up here away from the main dining area. Pretty nifty. That door leads into the second floor of the secondary pyramid, and we'll check that out in a bit. So for now, we'll just proceed up to the master office slash master bedroom area. So moving upwards, this will be the top floor. You do have the main office as you enter here with all the decorations going on, of course, that you'd expect. Little seating area, you know, stuff for going on in meetings. You can yell at your employees or whatever. But again, I don't really role play in this game, but I want the base to be aesthetically designed so that it makes sense for someone living in this environment, I guess, or this house, if you will, this castle. So even though I don't really role play, you know, I still had that in mind when designing it. Got the master bedroom here. Of course, behind the office, you have the faux walls right here and bookcases that you can go behind. Little drink station, you know, your mini bar right there, if you will. You pop through this door, which is the only door that's restricted to me only, which leads into the master bedroom. Of course, little seating areas, the base console right here that we can look at. We can see that, yeah, we're at 690 out of 700 decorations, but we can do more doors and building pieces. All of our lights are used up, but there's room for a little bit of expansion, but we're pretty much at our limit for the space we have currently. So master bedroom is not really crazy to show off here. I mean, it is what it is, kind of. They don't give you a whole lot of decoration pieces. There is another bedroom in this house that actually looks honestly better than this one, but it doesn't have the office and the central attachment to all the rest of the base. So of course we have water and our Solari storage in here. That's pretty much the only thing I store up here. This door will take you out to direct power access. Of course, you can get to this area from the hangar, so you don't need to come to the bedroom to get here, but it just provides direct access to all the power systems in the base. And I even kind of set it up so you have, of course, you know, looking at the compass, wind generation going in all the cardinal directions, like north and south, and then east and west. So everything is covered up here. We have plenty of power for what we need at the moment, but with plenty of room for expansion, as well as the passive water generation. So again, looking from here, you'll see a great view, but we'll check that out right when we spin out here, because the master bedroom and the office share a balcony space up here, which again just gives you a great view of pretty much the entire map of Haga Basin. We've got the rift over there, we've got the hammer and the anvil over there, and the Vermilion Gaps, and we've got Sheol right over there, and Misa Tiril over here. So the only thing you really can't see from this angle is Agam, or Adham, or however the fuck you say that, but that's over there in that corner. All the spice activity is going to be in this parabolic kind of arc that I'm going from here all the way over to about there. So you'll be able to see all of those spice blows when they happen. It'd be really cool if one just happened right now. Unfortunately, the timing doesn't seem to be going with us, and it's getting nighttime, so I want to explore the base before it gets too dark. So moving again back down to the first floor, we will go check out the hangar, and then we'll check out the isolated pyramid over there, which has no external access. You have to basically get into that pyramid by going through this main longhouse here. This is just shared access to the balcony right there.
A large sandstorm is approaching.
Oh, the sandstorm is going to make it really hard to see anything, so we might just kind of cut around that, but we'll keep moving throughout the base here. We'll go to the hangar next. So we got some free lighting right there, the little industrial drop observer roof tiles. Moving into the hangar, now you could store a carrier and move the other ornithopters up to the second level up here of the hangar. That would totally work if you wanted to have the carrier. But again, my deep desert is a little bit too hostile on this server for me to want to solo pilot and carry a carrier and have the harvester underneath it. So I kind of just mostly rely on scout farming, bring to a drop base, and then transport out of the deep desert with the assault. That's my current setup here. And on the first floor, this is kind of my magnum opus.
A large sandstorm is approaching.
Sandstorm coming from right there. But this is my magnum opus for this base. This modular, hyper efficient storage shelf. Of course, we have the little water containers filling up empty space. You could have a whole bunch of them behind this row of storage shelves if you wanted. These are over here just taking up empty space that's not being used. Of course, we have more on the second shelf with water behind the small, or I guess regular size storage shelves. Two of the medium, aka largest storage shelves in the game right there. And we'll go through all the storage towards the end of the video, I guess, if you guys are interested. But large water storage up on top. So just using just this shelf at this size, with those two over there and some of the other aesthetic water containers I have through the map, you're easily over like 700,000 water. And plenty of storage for everything that you need. So I really, really like this design I came up with. And yeah, now we're gonna not be able to see anything for a second as soon as the sandstorm gets here, but man, does it look cool. Just the graphics and the atmosphere in this game and the immersion are really, really good. So we're gonna cut around this storm because it just, for whatever reason, it's gonna make things like really hard to see even inside. Yeah, as you can see, everything's all hazy now. Actually, the aesthetics of the base during the storm are pretty cool. All the light bloom. So the storm is over. We're back in the hangar. Of course, I already used the Shiga wire to get up to the second floor of the hangar, but you do have a natural staircase that could get you up there if for whatever reason you're not using Shiga wire. So coming up here to the second floor, we have hangar space up here that can have assaults and scouts. Multiple of them. There's space for multiple. You know, once I get secondary copies of full tier 6 ones, I'll probably have those up there, and then the other tier 5 ones down there. And here's your normal access to power without having to go through the master bedroom. And that's pretty much the hangar. So all we have to do now is check out the standalone pyramid. It's off to the side, which shouldn't take too long. So running over through the main entryway and passing back past the dining area and the spice refinement will get you into the secondary pyramid. Now, something I mentioned earlier is in full effect in here. Well, a couple things actually. Like one, I'm near the cap of decorations, so I can't build too much more stuff. And two, I am also needing them to add more cosmetic pieces in the game. Like I need toolboxes and tool shelves and gun racks and ammo cases and, you know, other tool or industry related decorations, and then I can do more with this room. So for now, it's just big enough to hold this large vehicle pad and is mostly just purely utilitarian space. There's also a little like closet over here to kind of preserve the smoother finish of the walls and cover up some of those foundational pieces. So this room, very easy to cover. It's a work in progress. We need more content in terms of decorations for me to fully realize that room as like a industry area. Moving up into the second floor of the pyramid, we have more decorative space, and I really wanted to use these Twitch drop observer portal doors. So we kind of made a room within a room here as our situation room and or a lounge and hangout spot. You know, assuming the guild wanted to have like a meeting or actually any RP role-playing was actually occurring, this would be a space to facilitate that. Otherwise, I just wanted to make something that looked cool, like a, you know, a situation room, kind of meeting room or lounge. You know, assuming these holograms could play anything else, maybe this could be your like game and movie room as well. And of course, water access. So this also attaches directly to the second floor of the main longhouse, where our large spice refiner is, and then the stairs up to the office. So this space is not too isolated. Now above this, we do have an isolated guest bedroom, and it pretty much is the best looking bedroom. It's even better than the master bedroom, but it doesn't have that office space, you know, to complement it. So it is rather dark in here. I do apologize for that. But we do have, of course, a little desk. We have a bedroom here with the faux walls up. And just some kind of decorative tables. Stuff going on up here for the guest bedroom. Now this one isn't attached at all in any way to the main body. So this door is the only way to get up in here. And that's kind of why I'm not using it as my personal bedroom. It's more of a guest bedroom. They do have their own private balcony out here, which also offers those same great views of Sheol and the rest of the map, basically all of Haga Basin. Just, you know, one tile set lower than the master balcony up there. We've seen the entire base. Again, it is nighttime, so it's kind of dark, unfortunately. Got a lot of water and stuff down for the guests here. Books, little desk for them, little seating space in the corner. Very like hotelish slash upscale mansion type designs here. So I am going to wait to daytime and we'll finish out the video. So the sun is coming up on Arrakis. The lighting is getting better. Just figured we'd do one quick run through and then we'll do a fly around and then we'll pack it up. Show's over at that point. So a little bit better lighting. Obviously unused space in here except for the large vehicle refiner builder. Got our situation room, which is pretty well lit, so we probably didn't have too many problems seeing all that at nighttime. And then we'll jump up to the guest bedroom. Just check that out. Good lighting. Bam. Oh, look at nice vases everywhere. All the cosmetics filling up all the corners. Make everything look good. Nice little privacy wall. All right. Time to hop over into our thopter on the second floor here and do a little bit of fly around. Another little seating area right there. External back balcony. All right. Whew, little framey as we pulled out there. Alright, so you got your entrance to the hangar right here. You got the foundational supports underneath it. We've got our power generation up top. Nice little covered walkway leading into the master bedroom. Our gazebo, our main entranceway. Oh yeah, I didn't go through that. We have to go look at the top floor of that right before we close out. We've got the pyramid right here. That one being a perfect pyramid, and the other one being more of a longhouse. Positioned right on that sheer cliff drop down. And then we've got our external balconies, one down there. The master one right there, and then the private one over there. And then let's check out this bad boy right here. Now obviously you have an observation platform up top here. So, assuming anyone tried to attack the base, even though they couldn't, you've got pretty good eyes from up here to see the front half of the base. And then moving in from the rooftop observation, This is another area that I wanted to decorate with like ammo cases and weapon racks because it is more of an observation area. So the decorations are kind of light in here. And again, we are near our limit. But you have a nice little covered balcony up here as well for the observation platform. So you can check out, you know, if any of those bandits down there are getting squirrely, as they sometimes do. You get some shots off. Or if anyone was trying to troll at the door for whatever reason, and this was a PvP server, you'd have good eyes on the front door as well. So that's our scout tower right there. And that's just the little chamber that leads down to the front entrance. And yeah, that's pretty much the base, guys. I mean, it's enough. It's enough. It's everything that a solo player could need. Again, if you're running like a guild or something like that, you could expand upon a design like this and make it a guild base. But for right now, this is one of the largest solo player bases that I've seen on this siege of my server. Well, I haven't looked around at all the other different sub-servers, but that's one of the biggest ones right there. So, hope you guys did enjoy the video. Again, I mostly just recorded this because I needed something to upload just to keep my YouTube partner program stuff activated. Got a nice looking Atreides base right there. And then, what is this guy's power off? No. Say it ain't so. Your power's off, bro. You're gonna lose your Thopter with the Pentashield down. You don't have any protection over it. That's not good. I wonder if he's moving somewhere. So a small guild base right there. I met those guys the other day. This is my buddy's house right here. This one looks really nice. This guy is definitely a builder. But he hasn't been on in a few days. But he built a really nice cliffside mansion right there. And then these guys right here, my neighbors. This is another guild base. I've seen these guys get griefed before. At one point, they had a base out of like mixed materials, and apparently people got no disagreement, and then one person that had permissions like deleted the whole base. So this area is kind of framey because of all the bases that are around here, but yeah, flying over towards Misa Taril. We'll get the base to pop in from the distance here, and yeah, I hope you guys have been having good lives, great days, happy families, good health. I've just kind of been chilling, you know, not doing a whole lot, but I did want to try and prevent losing my partner status like I've done before. So getting that back can be kind of a pain in the dick. But anyways, hope you guys are having a good time. If you enjoyed the video, awesome. If you even watched it this long, I appreciate you. But yeah, that's about it, guys. I'm going to have to wrap this one up, tie a bow on it, call it quits. Maybe if I do any other cool builds or any expansion, I'll revisit this. Or if you guys want to see any Dune content, just let me know, you know. This is a very unreliable, unpredictable channel. I don't really know what I'm doing with myself. But in the meantime, have a good day, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.